I'm Karen Huxtable, and my degree is in psychology. I have a degree in developmental psychology.
My name's Sirach Asfa. I got my Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology, graduated from UTD in 2011.
My name is Lynn Winstead. My undergraduate degree was in psychology and criminal justice. I have a PhD in counseling.
Got my Master's of Science in Applied Sociology.
I also have my master's degree in clinical child psychology, and my developmental interest area is in social psychology, attachment theory, a special interest in understanding teaching and learning, which is basically about how students come to be successful in their education, how they get the most out of the experience of coming to a college or university. Basically, we're looking for students to be able to find that this is a fulfilling experience, that it's going to help them move toward their goals. It's about being able to develop the connections with others that are going to help them to develop the skills as well as the connections that are going to help them to make the changes that they want, to have these lasting mentoring relationships, perhaps with faculty or staff members or whoever else they encounter, that will again move them forward as they are completing their education.
How we communicate with other people, how we form relationships, deepen relationships, get to know each other is what creates success. And I don't mean money, I mean personal success for people. We build relationships, and I think people are hired and fired built on how they end up speaking and communicating and dealing with the other human beings that they are interacting with.
Dan Chambliss has a book on this called How College Works. And what they did, he and his colleague, looked at what kinds of things students look back on after they've graduated from college and what they think of as their most important formative experiences, the experiences that they had that made college worthwhile. And there were two main things that came out from that. One is that they have at least a small number of close friendships that developed at that time in their lives, and also that they have at least one, maybe two, connections with a faculty member who they felt cared about them. You know, what is the importance of these connections that are forming at this point in life? They're tremendously important. This is a basic human need, to feel connected to others, to feel effective with others.
Human beings are inherently relational creatures, and we're relational beings. And with that, there is this factor within human nature that's allowed us to survive for thousands of years, and it's because humans have grouped together and they've figured out ways to survive. Yeah, I do think it's important for college students to kind of find their group and to find their place.
Students who don't have a sense of belonging in the college setting are going to be at risk for developing depression, to lack the kind of social support network that will help them to deal with the stresses of academic life. They need to be able to develop connections with the people there so that they feel like they belong. Once you feel like you have a place you belong, people who know you, who see you, who understand you, who accept you for who you are, then you have that foundation from which to be able to do other things.
We have to be brave enough at some point to outreach to another person. And what that looks like as far as healthy relationships is that we're truly listening to another person. We're able to self-disclose. We feel safe enough to self-disclose and begin to build those relationships.
Relationships don't just happen. Your success in college isn't going to just happen because you happen to be there. Because people won't necessarily, maybe they will, but won't necessarily come knocking on your door to come seek you out.
I think the consequences of not forming those social ties are lifelong, and those are drastic. In sociology, we have this term called social capital, and what that term means is it's the ability to maintain the strength of weak ties. And they kind of studied a lot of politicians and business executives, and the ones that usually succeed are the ones that are able to call on friendships that they've had and maintained for a really long time, to basically call in favors, to call in help. It's the ability to meet someone, connect with them, empathize with them, relate with them, and remember them, and for them to do the same with you.
Some of the relationships students develop are going to be relationships in their residence halls or with people they encounter on a more social basis. There you're going to see that what is central to a healthy relationship will be something like trust. feeling accepted for who you are, feeling like you fit in with people who may or may not be similar to you, but have similar values, similar in their point of view.
To me, really goes back to being your authentic self. It doesn't matter if you love to party and I don't, but if I'm going to pretend like I like to party so that you're friends with me, that doesn't really make sense. That's not being connected. That's being fake. There's a lot of opportunities that we have to, I hate to use the word fake, but we have to be a certain way at work, or we have to, handle ourselves one way or another in certain environments. But, with my friend group and people that I truly feel connected with, I need to be myself, and that has to be okay. That's a major undercurrent of a healthy relationship.
The interesting thing about friendship is you can sit across the table from me and shower me with attention and questions and buy me things and show an interest in me. But our friendship, the quality of our friendship is only as good as I let it. Meaning you may feel really close to me and opening yourself up to me, but if I choose to keep myself closed up, then that's how far our friendship is gonna go. Friendship is this thing that you can't not pour yourself out in order to receive the quality of friendship that you desire.
You can be part of a group of people who have some very differing perspectives and benefit from that, but at the core is still going to be that basic trust, that still basic respect for each other's differences, appreciation and celebration of those differences even.
Some of the qualities that I see in friendships that I'm like, whoa, those friendships are purposeful, those friendships are quality, is I see friends that are genuinely interested in each other, that I see friends that aren't afraid to risk their friendship in pushing one another to be better, where people see one another for what they can become and not for what they currently are. I used to have friends in my life that I would argue with and debate with and kind of butt heads with. Ironically, those friendships that I would debate with and argue with and that would make me feel uncomfortable, that they were pushing me to become someone who was more tolerant and someone who was more informed about things that I was pretty arrogant on. There's kind of this mystery of life of how discomfort and stress causes us to grow, that we rarely grow when we're comfortable, but it's these moments of change and tension and us encountering ourselves and encountering the other that helps us see the world around us in a different way.
From a counseling perspective, I've seen people often that feel like I'm not worthy. We have very irrational beliefs. And often those irrational beliefs are, I'm not worthy, I'm not funny, no one wants to be my friend, kind of worthiness issues. Sometimes we have this irrational belief that nobody wants to be my friend, and so I act as if that's true, when really what I need to do is the opposite. A large misconception as far as relating to other people is perfectionism.
This desire to have the answers and to do things right, they just wanted me to tell them the answer. They just wanted me to solve problems for them so that I can resolve the turmoil going on in their head, or to solve them wrestling with these complex issues. We've kind of created a loophole where everyone's disappointed in the end, where the demographic that is most at risk for suicide are white males between the ages of 60 and 65. Demographically, this is the demographic of people in our country that have attained the ideal. They are in the dominant race, they're the dominant gender, they're in prime retirement age, and they've kind of ascended the ladder of whatever this ladder is that we've created, this pursuit of happiness, and they get there and they may realize this isn't the answer to the question that I have been posing my entire life.
If I were advising someone in how to be successful in an academic setting, how to make the most of it in terms of relationships, I think it would be to challenge yourself, to get out there and try new things.
Venture out. Connect to, the more people, the better. I don't mean that everyone becomes your best friend, but the more people, the better. The more friendly faces that you have across a college campus, the more you're going to feel bolstered up in your journey through college.
I would tell them, don't neglect self-work, don't neglect self-reflection, and don't neglect time with people. Meaning, when you're in college, you're in this unique time to understand the world around you from men and women, your professors or your teachers or colleagues that have spent 20, 30, 40 years of their life learning that this is a very unique time period in your life. Through the friendships I made in college, they caused me to reflect on who I was becoming, and that caused me to think deeply about myself.
There are people that literally feel like they do not have one person that they could call in the middle of the night if they needed something.
It's not hard to be somebody's best friend, because so few people have a best friend that's not based on chemistry or proximity or family. And I think we'd be really surprised at what we're capable of and who we're capable of relating with if we just open ourselves up to the people around us. It's like the moment someone decides to be a critical thinker, in the same moment they're also deciding, okay, I haven't been a critical thinker up until this point. I think the same thing happens with friendship, that it's okay to realize that that friendships that you may have in your life are based around just having fun with each other, and they're not really purposeful. Then you're kind of encountering a moment where you can decide, okay, I want there to be substance to this friendship now. And then you can really do that by pouring yourself out into it. And another thing that I see in quality friendships are people that aren't afraid to show affection to each other, that are willing to say, like, dude, I just love you, man. You know, dude, I missed you. Like, whoa, you did that? That is crazy. You're really good at doing that. Just affirming them, kind of pushing them further in that. Friendships that are our friendships because of who we are and not what we can do, those will naturally overflow into encouragement and pushing each other.
To be known, you just have to be your authentic self. We're not known if I am putting on a mask or I'm not really communicating with someone in an authentic way.
Everybody needs to feel like they matter to someone.